Opening comments. Grand Fondo, I guess. Congratulations to the organizers of the Grand Fondo. I guess the numbers are up well over 100 from last year. 145, 845 total. And Paul, you had a personal best, I understand. You were what?
I finished in 63rd out of 266.
Awesome.
So I was pretty happy about that.
Awesome.
Chambers was the winner.
No, really? Oh, I didn't hear that. Awesome. Right on. So the BCF is working again. I see him down there all the time exercising. That has to take some of the credit. We have a couple letters here. There's one letter from Municipal Affairs in regards to the gas tax. Drumheller's allocation for 2016 will be $432,868, and Ray advises that is what the town expected. It increases for inflation, so it's a 2% increase from last year. So it met the expectations. And additionally, we received a letter from Minister Mason in regards to the visit we had back in March
8th.
March 8th. And one of the things that we had talked about was a turnout at the bottom of the hill, and they have advised us that there will be funding. It's anticipated that there will be funding in the 2017 budget for the turnout. Another ask on the wish list was the paving of the truck route, and again, it's anticipated that there will be funding for the paving of the truck route from 2nd to 5th Street, or 5th to 2nd Street, I guess, whichever way you come at it. And the other issue we brought up was the Newcastle lingering sewer odor, and what they've done is they have agreed to go into an investigation to look to see if a lift station would be the fit to remediate. That certainly is what the town has suggested that it would take, is a lift station. So they're going to do a study into it, and if that is looking like it's going to be the fit, then I believe that they're going to go ahead when they do the work at the museum and introduce that also. So hopefully that will be done, and it'll take care of that once and for all. The main reason we went in there was to speak about flood mitigation, and what he has done is he has shared the information with Shannon Phillips, the Minister of Environment and Parks. They're the ones that would have to write the check, so it's all been shared to her. Ray has touched base with them from an administration level, and you're going to be talking with somebody maybe next week, you thought?
We're hoping to meet with the administration this week or after the long weekend coming up.
So, a positive letter, I think. And we can go down to 4.0, an adoption of our agenda, please. Jay, thank you.
Also move, your worship.
And a seconder? Tara? All in favor? It's carried. And we have the minutes of our meeting from June the 13th. We can have a motion to approve, please. Lisa? And the seconder, Cheryl. Any questions or comments on these? All in favor? That's carried. Additionally, there's minutes from the Municipal Planning Commission from May the 5th and June the 2nd. And moving down to delegations, we have the Drumheller District Chamber of Commerce for their semi-annual update.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to provide the update to the council today. We're excited to highlight our activities over the last 6 months. I am Shelley Rimo. I'm the current president of the Chamber of Commerce. We also have representatives from our board with us and our staff today. We have Brock Harrington, who is the vice president. We have Sylvia Adams at the back there, and Marley Henning, who is here. And I'm going to turn the presentation over to Heather and answer any questions at the end for you.
Okay. Thank you. So sharing our mission statement with you, I believe I've shared this with you in the past, but the Chamber of Commerce is a membership-based organization comprised of businesses, organizations, and individuals committed to building a strong business community through the promotion of local business, awareness of our membership benefits, advocacy on behalf of our membership at the local, provincial, and national levels, and providing opportunities for members to learn, share, and network. Our strategic plan for 2015 through to 2018 outlines 5 goals. Each year we review those goals and establish priorities for the coming year. The priorities established for 2016 are that the DDC is recognized as a premier advocate for its members and the business community, that we work to improve communication with the business community, and that we develop an engaging calendar of Chamber of Commerce events with a mix of networking and education to encourage greater participation from our business community. Our update today will provide you some information on how we are working towards those goals. So in terms of Chamber membership, I can tell you today that we have 231 members in good standing. At the present time, we have 16 outstanding memberships that we're looking to collect, and that will bring our total up to 247. Since January, we've had 10 new members join the Chamber of Commerce. This is pretty much on par for last year. We had a total of 21 new members in 2015, and pictured there is one of our new members, Red Deer River Adventures. And we've also had a variety of other members join, making up those 10, from contractors to technology-based to restaurants and spa services. If you're interested in taking a look at our complete list of Chamber members, you can go to our website where we have a full list of those members. We believe that a key factor in maintaining a healthy Chamber membership is building relationships with those members. Marley Henney, who is here, our Office and Chamber Services Coordinator, actively communicates with our Chamber members through a variety of means, whether it's personal face-to-face visits, telephone conversations, social media. She's very much involved with Facebook and Twitter, and she also puts together our Chamber newsletter, which goes out monthly, our Member Monday emails, and other direct email correspondence that we have with our members. So she's very much in tune with our members and out there chatting with them quite frequently. As we work to build those relationships with our members, we also promote the benefits of membership. And one of those benefits is our value-added programs. The value-added programs are negotiated through our affiliation with the Alberta Chambers of Commerce and Canadian Chambers of Commerce. And because we're a member of those, we're in turn able to promote these programs to our members. So offering significant savings of money, time, and resources for our members. The most popular one being the Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan, which currently we have 63 out of those 231 members that are on the Chamber Plan. And other popular programs that we have are the merchant discount rates on debit and credit card terminals, as well as courier and fuel programs. And currently, I just wanted to note that we're investigating a Chamber e-learning program, which could offer business training programs for our members. And this would be an online program that would be geared towards SMEs and would provide access to over 250 different courses covering key business programs such as marketing, accounting, customer service, anything that a business needs in order to be successful. So we're taking a look at that and how we might be able to offer that to our members. Advocacy remains one of the key priorities for our Chamber of Commerce. Our Business Advocacy Committee just marked its 2nd anniversary last month. And the committee this year is chaired by Darcy Thompson, and these meetings have provided our members an opportunity to identify and discuss issues and policies affecting their business. The goal of this committee is to work with businesses and government to develop and implement policies designed to ensure the Drumheller and District provide an atmosphere that is conducive to business and sustainable community growth. We continue to be members of the Alberta and Canadian Chambers of Commerce, as I mentioned. Both are very heavily active in advocacy. From October to May, we also participated in the Alberta Chambers of Commerce Policy Committee. And most notably, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce continues to monitor the NDP's proposed minimum wage increases. Last week, our chamber submitted a letter to our MLA, Mr. Strankman, in addition to the Labour Minister, Christina Gray, and Economic Development and Trade Minister, Darren Billis, regarding the minimum wage increases. Our recommendation, and this was background information was provided via the Alberta Chambers of Commerce, and they would be promoting the same message was basically to delay implementation of further minimum wage increases until the economy in Alberta stabilizes, and that the government also consider alternative approaches to supporting minimum wage earners that doesn't rest solely on the backs of business. So those were the two key messages in that letter that we sent. From the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, the most recent concerns voiced are in regards to the Liberals' plan to increase contributions to the Canada Pension Plan. And last year, members of the Canadian Chamber passed a policy resolution urging the federal government to make enhancements to CPP voluntary without imposing new costs to employers. Unfortunately, these changes that were announced last week will see increases to both employers and employees as they are phased in over 5 years. And last month, Marley and myself represented Drumheller at the Alberta Chambers of Commerce AGM in Red Deer. And later this fall, Shelley will attend the Canadian Chamber AGM in Regina. These events provide excellent opportunities to network with chamber leaders and government representatives from across Alberta and Canada. So through our chamber events, we are working to build a strong business community by promoting local businesses and providing members opportunities to learn, share, and network. In January, we held a meeting with MLA Rick Strankman with our members. It was aimed to introduce Mr. Strankman to our Business Advocacy Committee and for us to learn about the Wild Rose Party's plans to work with the NDP government. We also had opportunity to discuss Bill 6, and we also talked about the minimum wage increases as well at that time. So this is something as part of our strategic plan that we look to continue on an annual basis, at least at an annual basis meeting with our MLA, and hoping for the MP as well. In March, we held our annual general meeting, and we also held a business after hours event with Ladybug Arborist, who is a new business to Drumheller this year, and they're also a new chamber member. In April, we held our second annual Spring Expo. Over 1,100 people came out this year to see 70 different vendors that were on display. While the attendance was down slightly for year two, we were happy to have sold 89 out of 94 possible booths. So we were pleased with the support that we received in that respect. We also in April hosted another business after hours at the Drum Wireless, the TELUS location downtown. Our 5th annual Women in Business Mixer was held a couple weeks ago on June 16th at the Yavis Prop Room Lounge with approximately 25 ladies in attendance who enjoyed a fun, relaxed evening of networking. And looking forward to the remainder of the year, we are days away from Canada Day and the Canada Day Parade. Our new route for 2016 hopes to alleviate traffic flow congestion at the BCF Arena Dinosaur Spray Park following the parade. And with the route change, we also hope to improve the overall flow of the parade and minimize gaps between the parade entries that seem to appear over time. We would appreciate any of your thoughts, feedback regarding this year's parade if you're able to be part of it or watching on the sidelines so we can evaluate and make further changes going forward if need be. In August, we will celebrate our 21st annual Chamber Golf Tournament, which we've renamed the Jurassic Classic. Again, the focus of this year's tournament is networking and is open to golfers of any caliber. The 9-hole Texas Scramble will start at 2 on Friday, August 21st, and we would welcome anyone interested in participating. And funds raised from that tournament are used to support our Business Leader of Tomorrow scholarship that we present annually to a graduating student from St. A's and DVSS. So if you're interested in registering, please reach out to Marley to find out how to do that. And in October, we'll celebrate Small Business Week with our Business Excellence Awards. Nomination forms will be available in mid to late August. And then lastly, to round out the year, we will have Jingle Mingle in December at the World's Largest Dinosaur and Visitor Information Center. That's our annual member appreciation event. So in a small town such as ours, we all know the value in working together, and we certainly recognize that at the Chamber and work to build relationships in the community with our key stakeholders as we work to achieve our goals. So that involves, the business community. It involves the Town of Drumheller Council and Administration. Shelley and I are both active with Travel Drumheller. Paul's involved with Travel Drumheller, Community Futures, working with them, and as well the Royal Trail Museum, obviously with the government contracts that we have to provide support staff out there. So we're proud to serve the business community in Drumheller and area, and we aim to be a valuable resource and source of communications and information in the community. And this can only be achieved by us all working together. So we look forward to continuing those relationships in the coming year. Moving on to the world's largest dinosaur, I just wanted to provide some highlights there. So in the first 5 months of this year, our visitation is sitting at 27,847 people climbing up the dinosaur. That's an increase of 16.5% over January to May of last year. Going back to last year time period, we saw an increase of 33% during that time period over 2014 numbers. So we're still doing well. Hopefully everyone in the valley will be experiencing those increases over the season as well. Our legacy fund, we continue to contribute monthly to that. 15% of gross admissions and gift shop sales are put into the legacy fund. This spring, we distributed $3,000 each to the Royal Canadian Legion for some flooring that they replaced in the Legion, and $3,000 to the Munson and Area Community Association, which they will be using or have used for roll shutters in their new community hall that they're building up in Munson. Next round of applications are due September 1st, and that's for projects requesting a maximum of $3,000. And just a little bit also about our Visitor Information Center. So since 2009, we have been recognized as an accredited Visitor Information Center through the Alberta Visitor Information Providers. And to do so, we're required to meet a number of criteria set out by Alberta Culture and Tourism, who administer that program. So it's a matter of providing that high quality tourism information and travel counseling services to visitors. And regardless of chamber membership, we have a duty to promote all businesses fairly in our VIC, of course. And as per the criteria, we also carry a variety of tourism literature from locally to across the province and even areas outside of the province. Annually, our VIC staff participate in training programs to ensure that they can properly provide information and travel counseling services to visitors. And in addition, our staff went out on a fam tour of the valley as well. We do that annually for our staff. This year, we opened it up to the business community for them to join us, and we had a few people join us on that fam tour this year. It's something we had requests for in the previous year, so we decided this year to open it up, and we will, of course, look to evaluate doing the same thing in 2017. And as we all know, the bulk of our visitors come from May to September, but we do continue to be a year-round operation. Last year, I was here telling you, and I think I told you at the end of December, about our mobile VIC project that we piloted last year. So that was set up at various locations throughout the community. And for this year, I can let you know that we will operate a mobile VIC unit. It will be scaled back from what we did last year based on evaluating the projects and based on our current staff levels for this year. We're going to be operating on Thursday afternoons out at the Royal Trail Museum in July and August. Based on the data that we collected in terms of numbers of visitors counseled, that location was the largest, and certainly in terms of the feedback we were getting from people, those people going out to the museum possibly hadn't even stopped at our physical VIC location before reaching the museum. so they missed that component of what else there was to see and do in the community. Also, you know, the feedback from people at the museum was they were looking for something else to do, or B, didn't realize there was anything else to do in Drumheller other than the Tyrrell. So I think it makes sense that we at least keep our mobile VIC at that location for the coming year. So that will be starting, I guess the first day will be next week, next Thursday. The Chamber of Commerce would also like to give thanks to the town of Drumheller for its continued support of the VIC through the annual fee for service agreement. It is important to the community that we continue to provide exceptional customer service levels to those thousands of visitors who come to the information center each year. And just a few comments on the remaining year ahead, the next 6 months. We will continue to work to achieve our goals set out in our strategic plan. Advocacy will remain on the forefront. And we will also, as mentioned, continue to build those relationships with members and community stakeholders, and then also highlighted some of those events that are coming in the next months or days ahead for us. So that concludes our presentation. Shelley and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, ladies. Just when we talk about the world's largest dinosaur legacy, what's the total there? Aren't we looking at over $500,000?
Yes, actually, I did have that number and I skipped over it in my presentation. $585,000, just over.
$585,000 going back to the community from the world's largest dinosaur.
Yes, that is correct.
It's probably not a Chamber of Commerce anywhere in Alberta that gives that much back to its community.
I would argue not.
I don't think there's any argument
No.
there. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, comments? Anybody? Cheryl. Mike.
Sorry. You Travel Drumheller is part of your group of visitation. How does Travel Drumheller help the chamber with visitation and tourism? I know the town does, and do they support you financially, or how do they help you?
No, they don't support us financially. Heather and I just happen to sit on the board with them as a Travel Drumheller.
So how does Travel Drumheller help the tourism for the chamber? Does it help the tourism? I know you're on the board, but that's really not giving me an answer. Is it?
It helps because it brings everything working together, so we all know what all the other organizations are doing. I know we've had some meetings in the past couple of months with some of the major partners in the area, so that we all are on track working towards the same goal.
Thank you. That's a very political answer.
You're welcome.
Lisa?
Just wanted to say I'm glad to see that you're continuing with that mobile VIC, and the placement of it is fantastic. I know in my younger years working out at the Tyrrell Museum, the amount of questions that we'd be faced with was a constant onslaught as to what there was to do in Drumheller, so it couldn't have been placed anywhere else more better. Also, has the cutbacks on the VIC impacted much, or has the upwards visitation kind of leveled that off a bit?
Certainly, you know, in terms of any support we had got in the past from the provincial government, going forward, not necessarily, you know, having that, we've had to make some changes, and that's why, you know, we just don't have the staff. We've scaled back our staff this year. We're running with 10 staff right now. Normally we have about 12. So we've made a few changes, but certainly the other change I guess I could comment on was our scaled back hours. So weekends, May, June, we normally would have operated Friday, Saturday, 9 to 9. We scaled back those this year to 9 to 7, just to try and save some costs there. And also knowing that the visitors, you know, it slows down in the evening a lot after 7 o'clock. So I don't know that it's hurt our visitation numbers per se, changing those hours, but we will be doing 9 to 9 starting Thursday through to the end of August. Hopefully we'll have enough staff around to make it through to September long weekend to do 9 to 9, but that last week, right leading up to September long weekend, gets a little bit tricky with kids going back to school and such. So, but September long weekend, we will shoot to go 9 to 9 still. So hopefully the numbers aren't going to be dramatically impacted, but from all signs, it looks like very positive. The first 5 months are good. Our June numbers are not finalized yet. They're looking a little down, so hopefully we can meet last year's numbers or not be too far off the mark.
I know, sitting on as chair for the Homestead Museum, we've seen almost a 50% increase in visitors. So
that's excellent.
If we continue at this pace,
everyone should have a good year.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Kels.
you.
Anyone else? Tom?
Yeah, I'm happy to see that you're continuing the golf tournament. Firstly, it's always a highlight, always a good time. And one thing I'm also curious about, the town recently hired a new economic development officer, and I'm not sure I understand how the economic development office of the town works with the chamber.
I think Julia and I will be working lots together. I've already had a couple of meetings with her and talked about some initiatives that have come forward through our business advocacy committee. One is in regards to the business startup guide on the town's website. Right now, there is something there, but certainly we continue to hear comments from businesses about the challenges they experience in going through the process of either starting a business or making changes to their business in terms of permitting or what's required. So I've had a conversation with her about that and talked to her about if we could put together a more comprehensive list of steps for how to start a business. So I've done some research. I haven't shared that all with Julia. I didn't want to bombard her in her first few weeks, but we have had that conversation. I think there's certainly opportunities. I've worked with Julia on Travel Drumheller committee as well. So, I certainly see there will be opportunities for us to work together on some initiatives as well.
Paul?
I believe Adrian Hartman actually is a representative from the Chamber of Commerce on the Economic Development Task Force. So from that perspective, in addition to the other seats on the Economic Development Task Force, there's good representation, and I think it's a very good time to share information with different organizations from Drumheller, as Heather and Shelley have pointed out already. I think there's really good open conversations about how we can complement each other in the work that we do.
Jay, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you very much for the update. Very thorough job again. Some of the other questions have answered a bit of my question. That was going to be one of my major requests, was whether or not we currently had enough of a relationship to work on some different elements we haven't ever worked with. Certainly, council and the town gets tagged with a tremendous amount of responsibility, especially in down economies, about stimulating that, and we've seen sort of an uptick in the vacancies in downtown Drumheller. And so I was hoping there might be an opportunity for us to work a little closer. I know it's been a personal mission of mine to ask economic development to work on suggestions for eliminating red tape and fees and just the overall perception of the difficulty of doing business in this community. And we want that to have a different culture, to have a different flavor. And with the town, when it comes to dealing with absentee landlords and buildings that are just perpetually empty, we really only have a stick. We don't have much in the way of a carrot to try to encourage people to fill up those spaces. So I would be interested in finding out if through economic development we could work on some sort of strategy to deal with unoccupied buildings in the downtown core, particularly storefronts, as it leaves a blackened tooth sort of look to the whole downtown core. So I'm not looking for an answer, I'm just hoping that there's an opportunity for us to explore that. And second, about the parade. I know there's been some discussion and some pressure maybe to get out of that business, but let me reiterate that ex-residents, friends, family, people come from all around to Drumheller for Canada Day because this community does such a great job of it. And no small part of that is the parade. And so I just wanted to thank you for continuing to do that. It would be, I think, a difficult transition for any organization to take it over from you. And I know that's not a primary element of your core business, but it's appreciated by this community nonetheless.
It's our community feel-good event of
There
the
you
year.
go. Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
One of many. Any other comments or questions? Again, thank you very much, ladies, and thank you to the members. Appreciate it. And we'll move right over to 8.1.1, Wheatland County Regional Infrastructure Services Program funding. Ray?
Thank you, Your Worship. As per the request for decision and the letter and attached agreement submitted from Wheatland County, they've indicated that they have approved a redistribution of 0.25 mils of their non-residential property tax to their neighboring municipalities. And so that would be the urbans within their area, and also Drumheller, obviously that's adjacent to their county. They note Hazar, Rockyford Standard, Strathmore, Drumheller, and then also they've noted Gleason and Carson, although they haven't made specific reference to the funding for them. They have advised us that on an annual basis, $750,000 will be available and split based on the formula that they've developed, of which they've identified that 2.4% of that population as a percentage would come to Drumheller. When you do the calculation, it rounds out at $18,000 per year. And if you take it over 5 years, that's $90,000. They, in the agreement, indicate certain requirements that they expect for, obviously because they're contributing some dollars, they'd like some recognition for it, and set out some terms of reference in terms of what the money can be used for or how it could be put toward other projects. The town of Drumheller recently met with Starland County and discussed regional collaboration, and obviously got into a bit of a discussion relating some potential for cost sharing initiatives down the road. A meeting is scheduled with Nehill County sometime in July. We don't have a firm date yet. Linda's still working on trying to get that nailed down. I've also had some discussions with Wheatland County through their rep on our Solid Waste Management Association and with the CAO, and they've expressed an interest in meeting with us to talk about regional collaboration opportunities. And at that time, hopefully there would be an opportunity to discuss this proposed agreement in terms of us providing some input into what's being proposed, and out of that, we may be able to identify where we have some additional needs. They've provided that to our council, asked us to sign the agreement along with the other municipalities as we move forward. So the recommendation obviously would be to council to pass a motion supporting this agreement, and then along the way we would acknowledge that a meeting later on, probably early fall, with Wheatland should be held just to have some further discussions in a whole number of areas, including the potential of this agreement.
Lisa? Sure.
Go back to it. Question. I make a motion that council approve Wheatland County's Regional Infrastructure Service Program funding agreement with the town of Drumheller as presented.
Thank you. Seconder? Sure. Thank you. Comments or questions on this? Tom?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how they came up with this formula. Did we have any input into it, or this was just something that they came up with that they thought?
The town had no input into this agreement. I'd heard through the CAO that they were considering entering into an agreement with neighboring municipalities, but at no time did they contact the administration and ask us for any input. So I was a bit surprised, and that I was advised at a conference in Kananaskis about a month ago that their council had passed this motion and that we would be getting a letter confirming the details of it. The letter is now here, but no, we haven't had an opportunity to provide any input, and that's where I'm suggesting that a meeting should be held. And we should ask them to provide their rationale as to rationalization of the formula. And as I indicated earlier, hopefully we could provide some additional arguments that would suggest that maybe that cost sharing should be somewhat more than what they've identified.
So yeah, I was kind of flabbergasted to read this. So you don't know any background information. It's not a mandate from the province that they do this. Have we had agreements like this prior to? Just besides specific projects, like I don't recall in my term on council ever having a yearly stipend.
There's been discussions through the province about whether or not some of the linear taxes should be more equally distributed between the urbans. Whether or not that discussion was part of their rationale for creating this agreement, I don't know. As I say, we haven't had that discussion with them, but it'd be a good question to ask. In terms of in the past, be it Wheatland, Starland, Nehill, they have provided some contributions to the capital for the VCF, as an example. And I can refer back, and I'm guessing it's about 20 years ago now, where Nehill County used to give us, based on the same kind of formula, they would take the population adjacent to Drumheller as a percentage of the overall county population, and take a recreational grant that used to be provided through the province and send that to Drumheller. And that continued for about 10 years until the province canceled the grant, and that was the end of it. So for all the years that I've been here, that's the only one that I can think of where actually the dollars were submitted to us and were able to be used for operational costs. Any other contributions have been very specific to a particular project and used for capital purposes.
Tom, I don't know if you recall, but I think that in the MGA they're asking that counties and municipalities collaborate, have regional collaboration, and they're suggesting that's the way they would like to see it be done. So I'm thinking that's where they've got the idea, if I'm not mistaken.
The only, when reading through that, obviously regional collaboration is a big part of what is being proposed by the province, but on the read through changes in the legislation, they're suggesting that there would be, through that cooperation, agreements could be put in place, but there wasn't anything that specifically said that the province, as I understand it, would look at redistributing that linear assessment amongst the municipalities. There wasn't a section that specifically referenced to that becoming a given.
I think, Lisa, it's fair to say there's no policy in place right now. There's no binding policy in place that would require them to do this. Maybe something through the
or even
review.
Proposed, right?
Yeah. Jay.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm reminded about a story about gift horses and looking in their mouths.
Yes.
But so I appreciate the sensitive nature of the language. I'm just curious because I'm not seeing it, and perhaps you can point it out to me if I've overlooked it. Where in the agreement does it say how we may use this money? I know it says how we have to report it, but are there any strings attached in the agreement itself? And if there aren't, that's fine. If there's the anticipation that there would be somewhat later some conditions, then
well, the first line, if I could, Jay, it talks about under the whereas the parties provide infrastructure required services utilized by Wheatland County taxpayers. Okay. Quite general, but there's a reference to it. And then further down, it talks about that if we redirect the funds or reallocate the funding, then there has to be acknowledgement of that publicly, etc. But it's not specific to any particular project, but it just talks about that it should be used operationally to offset costs for services that are utilized by their residents.
Okay. If administration is making a recommendation that you're comfortable with the phrasing, I'm not. I'd probably be voting against the motion unless we make a motion to table it until the expectations on how the resources can be utilized could be more specified. I'm just not comfortable voting for it right now until I know that we could use it the way that we would deem the most appropriate. Certainly the infrastructure services utilized by Wheatland County taxpayers is a fairly broad category. And if that's comfortable to everyone, so be it. But it leaves a little too much to the imagination for me. And I agree with Councillor Risky in that I'm curious about why if it was pure population based, I'm surprised by the 2.4% and would love to hear the rationale behind that at some later date, all the while cashing their check. So yeah, I'm a little torn about the whole thing. I just wish we could take a little more time. But if there's a impetus behind them needing to get this done quickly, I won't stand in the way. I'm just concerned about whether or not we can use it the way we want to use it.
Again, Your Worship, just to clarify, we didn't have any input into it. It's here. The agreement provides for funding that I think we can put to good use. There's enough services provided in the community would benefit Wheatland counties where I don't think that's an issue. But should we sit down with them and clarify these things and have a good discussion to better understand where they're coming from? I've already indicated that they've agreed to a meeting down the road. And I would think it would be a good opportunity to take this agreement as a starting point and use it to hopefully embellish it, for our betterment into the future.
Tara?
Just for reference, Jay, under definitions, they have the infrastructure and they're saying basic physical and organizational structures and facilities, buildings, roads, and electrical systems. So I don't know if that gives you enough to be comfortable with on that or not.
I did see that. I appreciate it's more particularly I have concerns about whether or not this fully recognizes the use of our recreational facilities in particular by Wheatland County residents and the local infrastructure for other things. But and so without any specific language around recreation facilities, I just want to make sure we have the freedom to use it for operations in that regard. Or should we not choose to put the money back towards our depleting reserves, etc. I don't feel like we have that sort of leeway here, and so I'm just uncomfortable.
Enough. I think they're giving us the money, and I don't think there'd be any difficulty in my mind in rationalizing that money could be used in a number of areas where we wouldn't have to give it back to them if that's the concern. And as I've already indicated twice, I think there's ample opportunity to sit and discuss and work toward improving on what's here. And this isn't something that administration brought forward. This is something they presented to us. We're bringing it forward. It's dollars that are available to the community, and I think it's a good starting point for us to do better in the future.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. And moving down, we can go to, that's it for our agenda here. We have an in-camera matter to discuss, a land matter. If I can have a motion, please. Lisa, thank you. And seconder, Jay, all in favor? It's carried. We'll in camera for a few minutes.